So you want a really cool webcam border, but you don't know how to make one. Well, luckily for you, I'm here to help. Let's get into it. Welcome back to the channel. My name is PSYRIK and I'm your one-stop shop for Twitch tips, tricks, and training. And what is a good Twitch stream without a webcam border? So here I am today to show you how to make a cool webcam border like mine in a nice, affordable program called Affinity Designer. For those of you who don't know what Affinity Designer is, it's a vector-based graphics program. Think of like Adobe Illustrator. It's really good for making graphics that you have to scale up and down. Okay, so let's jump straight into the tutorial. In today's video, I'm gonna go over two different webcam designs that you can go for. The first one will be like you see now that I'm in, and it's much easier, honestly, than the other one that you saw. Yeah, you can get this one in a few steps. So what we're gonna do is first click New Document, and we'll make it like 1000 by 1000. And I like the DPI to be 400. Yeah, it just has a high resolution. And keep everything else the same. Click Create. What you want to do is grab the rounded rectangle tool. Once you see these dots line up, hold down Control and Shift on your keyboard and drag out to about there. Okay, so we have a rectangle here. So how do we get it to be what you see on your screen now with my camera, where you have the rounded rectangle, but it also has like a drop shadow? We'll need two pieces for this. The first one is a camera mask. This is essentially making your camera the shape of whatever you want. So in this case, we want the shape to be this rectangle, right? So what you want to do is you take the slider over here and drag it all the way to 0. The HSL selection here is your best option for colors. You can select it out of this. But anyway, what you want to do is make this pitch black. And then from here, you push Control-Shift-Alt-S to export, or you can go to File and then Export, and it'll show you whatever your hotkey is for it. So click that, pick the size, everything should be the same. You click Export. And once you export, you'll choose wherever you want to save this file. I would call this camera mask. So for the next piece, what you want is to get this drop shadow, right? So what you'll do is get your select tool, click the rectangle that you just made, and then drag this up to be all white. Then you go to Layer Effects, Outer Shadow, and we can move this over here so that way you can see exactly what it's doing. So we want about this angle 315, and what you'll do is you'll turn the opacity up, the radius to about there, and then offset. What offset does is it'll move it in whatever direction your angle is set. So if you can see, the higher the offset, the more it's going. I think an offset of about, that's about pretty good. And then we'll up the intensity by just a little bit. What you'll do there is click Save. Okay. And what we'll do is export this and call it Cam Frame. At the end of the video, I'll get into how to apply these. If you don't want to watch the next piece, look down below for the timestamp. That'll lead you right to where you're looking for. Now, for everybody else who likes the other webcam border that I have, well, you just go to File, New. For width, we'll do 1500. For height, we'll do 1000. DPI once again to 400. Click Create. Okay, and you should see this. Now, what you'll want to do is start off with a square. I know, just a square doesn't look like much. Doesn't matter what the size is. So what you'll do is you'll go over to Transform to the width box and go 1280, tab, 720, tab. And then you can go over here and center it, or you can just drag it over and center. Now this is the resolution, or should be the resolution of your webcam. If it's not, make the square whatever that resolution is. So in order to get a webcam like mine, it has to stay within the bounds of this black rectangle. So once again, I'm going to use the rectangle tool, and we'll make the color white so it stands out a bit, and we'll do that. And just have them centered. Next, we'll go like this. So this can honestly be however you want to do it, at whatever width. This is just what I think would be the best style for it. So what you want to do is you want to grab this top rectangle, go up the corner here, and click on Straight. That'll make all the corners straight. And just drag this out. And you'll want to center that. And now, this is the shape of your webcam border. Okay, so once you have this, if you want the angle of the corners to be a little bit different, what you can do is go to convert to curves, select the white mouse over here, and you'll want to drag these little dots as far over as you want to be. Now, there's no way, as far as I'm aware, to make it even on both sides. So what you're gonna have to do is use the ruler tool by just dragging that. We can see here that this is one tick before the 300. Grab another one. We'll put it here, which is one tick after 1200. And then we'll drag this out to wherever we want to move the dot to. So let's say we want to move it to halfway between 300 and 400. On this side, we'll want to do halfway between 1100 and 1200. And as you can see here, there are 7 ticks between each of the rulers on both sides. So now what you can do is come grab this white mouse tool, if you didn't have it selected anymore, and move it right over to that ruler. Mouse tool, right over to that ruler, and we can do the same thing down here. We move that in, and there we go. Now these are all together. So what you can do is you can go over to your layers here, click the curve that you just made as well as the rectangle, and then click add, and this will turn it into one shape. Now this is really important. So what you want to do is copy, Control-C, and paste to have 2. Then you can either delete or just hide the rectangle by clicking this check mark. One of these curves, the bottom one, set that to be black, because this will be your camera mask. And then go to this curve and take away its fill. So there's nothing on the inside. All you have is the outline, which you can see here. I'm gonna make it red because I think that'll be a little bit more visible for you guys. And then you can up the width to whatever you want. And then this will be your webcam border. Pretty simple. If you wanted to have it where it's like mine and there's a little bit of space between the mask and the camera border. Okay, so what you want to do is click the corner here, Shift Control, and drag it out just a little bit. And there you go. Also, if you don't leave these rulers in the way, what you can do is just drag them here, and just drag them out of the artboard and they'll disappear. So here you go. There's your webcam border. But as you saw with mine earlier, I had these little cool things on the bottom. One for my rotating feed, and also one for my sub counter. So how did I do that? I have this icon over here. What you can do is you can make any icon you want, or find one or download one off the internet. Use Control-Shift once again to keep it in place and to keep it scaled right there. Okay, color, we'll make it match the same color as before. So now you see you have this little sub badge, right? You can scale it to whatever size you think would fit right. And then you copy, paste. So take this bottom one, go to where it says normal, click erase, and then drag it out just like this. And now you have this little clean edge where it's not touching the crown and not blending in. But you also saw that little metric feed area I had below. So what you can do is go to the rectangle tool, click here, and just line it up. Just like that. And then you click on it again, and use your arrow keys to move it down. So now that we have the square, you're thinking, okay, this looks nothing like what he has. Just hear me out. Okay, so go to where it says single radius once this square is selected, and uncheck mark it. This will allow you to change the corners of each size. So what you want to do is keep your top corners the same, but your bottom corner, change it to rounded, bottom corner rounded. And what you can do is up the roundness like this. What I'm actually going to do is use a control key, grab the side here and make it a little bit wider, just so that way anybody who has a long name isn't overflowing on this thing. Now click it, and on your keyboard press G to go to the gradient tool. Make sure your fill is selected. Grab it from the middle of the top, go to the middle bottom. For the top one, pick a darker color. And for the bottom one, pick a lighter color. Now on the top one, you're also going to click it and drag the opacity down to something lighter. I think about 20% works fine. And I think this is a little bit too bright of a red. So we'll put it right there to make it kind of match. With the gradient still selected, come up to where it says content up here and click stroke. What I'm going to do here is actually, I will lower the opacity of this dot. And I'm also going to come over here to stroke and make it stay in the inside here. So that way it's not overlapping too bad. And I think about a 50% opacity here looks good. So now what we'll do is we're going to turn our mask back on so you can see how the final product is going to look. But look at this down here. This looks a little bit wonky. So we're going to come down here and fix it. So click on your curve and then hold shift and click the crown. Now you have both selected. Then push Control G to group. Now you can see that the erase is no longer affecting your mask. That's good. And there you go. There you have it. Now on to exporting this and putting these into OBS. So what you want to do here is uncheck mark everything that's not your camera mask. So come over here, uncheck that, and then you'll click Artboard 1 and export. Save this as your camera mask once again, then uncheck mark it and check back the other stuff, and then export that as your webcam border. And you can play and tinker with the angles and anything you want here. Remember that if anything isn't exactly to your liking. This is just how I did it and how I made mine. Now, once you have these exported, let's get them into OBS. Now for this part, you're not gonna see my camera because I can't have camera on 2 instances of OBS at the same time, which is fine because you'll see how I'm setting everything up now. So first things first, you'll need 2 extra scenes to get this to work. One for your cam filter and one for your camera border. Now I don't know if you saw my earlier video, I did one about nested scenes. You might want to watch that to get an idea of how these nested scenes work. For now, you can just follow the steps along. So create a scene called bracket CF close bracket cam filter and another scene called bracket NS bracket camera border. First things first, you'll go to camera filter. You'll add video capture device, and then you'll add whatever camera you have here. Hello, you can see my face again. And then you'll just make this whatever size you want. If you want your set to a wider resolution, what you can do is go to resolution type, custom, go down here, and then find 1928 by 720. It's very, very big, as you can see. So what we'll do, shrink it down, and there we go. Awesome. Now, right click onto the scene cam filter, go to filters, go to the plus button, then go to image mask / blend. Click OK. For this, you want to make sure your type is set to alpha mask alpha channel. Go to path, browse. Now once you select the black instance from before, you can see it's set to the black shape that you selected and that you exported earlier. So what you do here is you click close. Now this is your filter. This scene is done. You don't need anything else here. Now what you do is go to cam border, go up here to scene, and click on your cam filter scene. So it's right here. Next, you'll go up to image. You'll add an image called cam frame or whatever you want. And then you'll select this white rectangle you made earlier. So what you'll do is do your best to line it up the best you can and then drag it below your camera filter. Now what you can see, I don't know if you can tell, but you can still see a little bit of it right here. So what I'm going to do is take this, use my arrow keys to move it over a few pixels. It's still a little bit not good enough. So we'll move it back over. We'll go over here to transform, edit transform, and I'm actually going to make this 1078 by 1078. A little bit smaller. And there we go. This should be good. Now if we go over to our test scene, this will be whatever scene you want to put the camera in, or every scene you want to put the camera in. You go to scene, camera border, and there you go. And now all you have to do is just drag this around and you see that it has the drop shadow on it, like you saw before. Okay, so you opted to have the second webcam border. As you can see, you can't see my face. There's 2 instances of OBS on my computer, so won't use both. So you'll see my face in just a second. What you want to do is create 2 scenes, one called open bracket NS close bracket cam border, and one called open bracket CF close bracket cam filter. These are going to be nested scenes. The little bracket things let you know that they're nested scenes, and it makes organization in OBS amazing. Earlier, I made a video on nested scenes. You might want to go watch that just to get an idea for how these work. But for now, you can just follow along. So for cam filter, go to video capture device. Click that. Click OK. You want the whatever your webcam is. Mine's the C920. Go to custom resolution, 1280 by 720. Now you can see we have a good little normal resolution webcam. Right click on the cam filter, go to filters, add image mask blend, select the type to be alpha mask alpha channel, and then select wherever you saved the camera mask. And it'll be the shape of the camera mask. See my camera? It's this shape. If the mask isn't positioned right, what you can do is you can go to the video capture device and move this around however you want. Or you can go back to Affinity and just scale everything up and then re-export it, and you should see it change here too. I'm not going to get into that due to time for the video, but it's not that hard. So now what you'll do is you go to cam border and you'll add your scene with the cam filter. So that way people can see your face. And you go to plus, image, name this whatever you want. It's going to be your cam border. And then select the border you exported. Okay, so now that I have this selected, I'm going to push OK. And you might see that you have a little bit of aligning to do. That's going to happen. It's perfectly all right. What you can do here is right click on this, go to transform, and then center to screen. And then what you can do is you can play around with the positioning here and get it however you like it. You can also tweak it in Affinity if something isn't to your liking, like I said before. So what you do is go whatever scene you'll be streaming in, or all the streams you'll be streaming in, and go to cam border right here. And there we go. Now you have a nice webcam border like the one I use. Ta-da! In order to get the sub counter and the metrics badge here, you have to use stream elements. You'll have to use stream elements overlays. You put a sub counter or total sub count here, as well as you put a rotating metric widget, which I'll have a link to in the description below right here, and you can customize it however you want. And yeah, that is everything for this video. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below, or come to my Twitch channel. I stream every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Link in the description below. Here we are, back to normal. If you liked the video, be sure to hit like and subscribe. I upload every single week. I have some other tutorial videos coming out soon. I hope you guys found this video helpful. Thank you guys so much for watching. This has been your Twitch trainer, here with another video. Until next time, though, take care. I blame you, Pento. I blame you, Pento. If I had a second gun, I would have won.